just a bit. But first, let's talk about the incident that has, of course, sparked all this furor across the cricketing world. It took place in the final ODI between India and England. Now, you know for a fact that India had already won the series, but were aiming for a clean sweep. Yet, within the final ODI, which is taking place at Lord's, it was headed for an absolute thriller of a finish. England only needed 17 runs to actually win the match, and there were 6.3 overs left. But the catch was that India only needed one more wicket to win the match, and that is when Deepti Sharma was halfway through her over on the fourth ball. She's through her delivery stride, pulls out, and she runs out Charlotte Dean. Now, that was the point where, you know, the fans in attendance started booing. But of course, since it's part of the laws of the game, the umpire went up to the third umpire to see if it was indeed, you know, a legal dismissal, in the sense that was the batsman out of her crease, because that's how it is. Leave aside spirit of the game, or leave aside whether you think this is right or wrong. The umpire did his job by going upstairs to the third umpire. The third umpire confirmed that yes, the batsman was in fact out of her crease. In fact, I should say the non-striker was out of her crease, and that Deepti was well within her rights to run her out. However, of course, as I said, as has been the case whenever a Mankad dismissal happens, it does tend to cause a lot of furor, and here comes the debates once again where it pertains to the spirit of the game. And I know it's in the rules, but let's leave aside the fact that if it's in the rules, it means it's legal. But no, either way, there was a lot of furor and there was a lot of backlash for the Indian players. Now, we just go through some of the reactions from both sides, starting with the people who were against it. First off is Piers Morgan, a man who knows a thing or two about morality, sarcasm alert, saying that this was an absolutely pathetic way to win a cricket match. The whole Indian team should be ashamed of themselves. Yeah, says the man who taps phones. Anyhow, not just him, James Anderson, who by the way would know a thing or two about bowling and getting wickets, would said to her in a tweet in reply to Sam Billings that there was no intention clearly from Deepti to bowl the ball. Now again, this intention thing does lead to a lot of debates over whether or not the wording should be clearer, because again, the law says very clearly that the bowler has to not be in her delivery stride before she pulls out, which Deepti really wasn't. But then if you're judging intent, it does show that there's quite clearly you know, misinterpretation, or there's room for loopholes to be picked out. And that's what a lot of people have talked about, is that what was the intention behind. Now, to be fair, it could very well have been an intention to run her out, and she would be well within her rights to do that, because as I have you know, emphasized, it's in the rules. But neither here nor there. Another you know, James Anderson's you know, red ball new ball partner Stuart Broad also says that he finds the debate very fascinating, finds it very interesting, and he says that he personally wouldn't like to win a match, but very happy for others to feel differently. Despite that, he went to a retweet spree for everyone who actually disagreed with, you know, the way the match ended. So real partiality or neutrality over there. Another person who was against it, Mohammad Asif, who of course a lot of you would remember, the former Pakistan fast bowler, who actually dubbed the Indian players cheats, where in a hashtag, again, someone who was caught and found guilty of spot fixing shouldn't really be passing such judgments, but hey, who am I to make these comments, am I right? But he did say, again, he raised the same point about no intention to bowl the ball, which again kind of belies the purpose that the batsman should actually be more in focus here, because the batsman was quite clearly wandering out of a crease, and well, therefore you should actually, as a bowler, be well within your rights to run the non-striker out. David Gower was another person who said very clearly, in fact, he raised not only an issue with what Deepti Sharma did to Charlie Dean, but also what R. Ashwin had done to Josh Butler in the 2019 IPL. He says that if the bowler is far into the delivery stride, then the batsman has every right to assume that the ball will be bowled, and so they can leave the delivery, they can leave their crease, which again makes no sense. I don't understand, or I don't quite understand where this thing of intent comes into play, and how is it that you can judge as a batsman when it is that one should leave the crease. Personally, I think it's only fair that a batsman should leave the crease only as soon as the bowler has released the ball, and that would be the right and perfect time to actually leave the crease, not before, not slightly before, not when the bowler is in a delivery stride, but after the ball has been bowled. In fact, many people who were in agreement with Deepti Sharma for this particular dismissal made similar points. Although Mohammad Kaif, the former India batsman, also wasn't really in favor. He raised the same point. He says that every batsman at her start when they're at the non-strikers end, they time their start accordingly. So after years of playing, they are mentally programmed as to when the ball will be released, as they are focusing on the striker. If a bowler doesn't release the ball, it's unfair on the batter. But again, is it also not unfair on the bowler if the batsman is actually leaving their crease well beforehand? I would say yes, but again, that's something that most people who seem to be against this particular mode of dismissal have clearly picked on as, a sticking point. Now, however, to talk about the people who did, agree with this mode of dismissal, and of course, I'm going to start with R. Ashwin. Who else do you think I was going to start with? After actually taking cheekily to Twitter and asking why is it that people were trending the word Ashwin, he said very clearly he took James Anderson's response, where he's pointed out very clearly that there should be intent, or there should be an intent to bowl the ball, which again logically makes no sense. He says that it's a great idea for bowlers to actually do the Mankad, and sarcastically added that how about awarding that wicket to the bowler for presence of mind to run the batsman out under immense pressure, and of course knowing the social stigma that the bowler would then have to deal with post doing that, which in a way is correct, because despite the fact that this is very clearly written into the laws now as a legitimate mode of dismissal, look at the furor that it has sparked. Despite the fact that, as I said, it's within the rules, people are still banging on about, spirit of the game, and this shouldn't be done. Why shouldn't it be done? It's in the rules. And he's of course not the only one who's gone this route, because Virendra Sehwag, ever the Twitter troll, decided to post a meme alongside, of course, a full screenshot of the rules regarding the run out. The meme, in case you're wondering, says that it has the England flag which says invent a game, forget the rules. So good one there. And he also said very clearly in that tweet, he's pointed the screenshot out which explains that the non-striker should be waiting for the ball to be released. So he's clearly not at all seeing a problem with what Deepti Sharma did, which of course was the case with many others. Harsha Bhogle, of course, ever the voice of reason, says that, and he pointed out a very interesting situation. He said that, imagine a World Cup final and you need one run to level scores. The non-striker charges down for a single and is in by a quarter of an inch. Suppose that it turns out that she had left the crease before the ball was bowled. Would that be fair? Would running less to win the match be within the spirit of the game? Well said. Couldn't agree more, because, well, if you're talking about spirit of the game, then is it within the spirit of the game to leave your crease before you're allowed to? That's not really in the spirit of the game either, is it? But by the way, he wasn't the only one. Akash Chopra, again someone who's been very vocal about this in the past, was very unequivocal with his support for Deepti Sharma. He said, well done, you did the right thing, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And he also pointed out something that should have been in the focus of many other fans instead of the Mankad. And well done, Team India, the sweet taste of a clean sweep on English soil. Brilliant. Is this a case of being sore losers? I wouldn't exactly, put it past them, because of course it's never nice to lose to a visiting team at home, that too by 3-0, a clean sweep. Never the best, but I'm saving the best response for last, and again it comes back to that tweet made by Sam Billings. I told you we'd be coming around to that again, and ironically it comes from an Englishman. Hear that right. Alex Hales, who in fact recently got a recall to the England team, said very clearly in reply to Sam Billings, it shouldn't be difficult for the non-striker to stay in the crease until the ball has left the hand. In the words of the great MS Dhoni, nothing more to add. I should also note that, of course, I do still have a few more things to add. There is the simple fact that in recent times, this law has been amended both by the MCC and the ICC. I mentioned the MCC because the Marylebone Cricket Club are not only the custodians of the game, but they're also the one who brought about this idea of the spirit of the game. Now, I have read about the spirit of the game, and I can tell you very clearly that the spirit of the game doesn't say anything about not affecting a dismissal that is well within the rules. The spirit of the game purely says play hard, play fair, respect your opponents, play with dignity, shake the players' hands even despite whatever result has gone your way. Respect the umpire's call. It doesn't very explicitly or in any way, shape or form say don't run out the non-striker when the non-striker is well out of their crease. The rule previously, it is worth noting, used to be about giving a warning to the non-striker, but that rule is no longer in place. And in today's day and age, the bowler is well within their rights to run out the non-striker. So with that said, considering the fact that this is within the rules, I think and I hope that this is the end of this furor that kicks up every single time someone affects a dismissal this way. Also, let's stop calling it a Mankad dismissal and let's just call it what it is, a legitimate run out. And Deepti Sharma has nothing to be ashamed of for the kind of dismissal that she's done. And I'm very, very thankful a lot of people are actually agreeing with that, because spirit of the game is there to respect your opponent. It's there to play the game in the right way. Playing the game in the right way doesn't mean circumventing rules that are clearly written in place just because you don't agree with that said rule. And the simple fact is that rule has been agreed upon by the custodians of the game and by the people who run the game. So end of debate. What Deepti Sharma did was not wrong at all, but you guys can let me know if you were in agreement with, of course, what has been said. Are you pro-Mankading or anti-Mankading? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you know when we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Then you can go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And last but not least, download the AajTak app for breaking news updates from the world of sport. Thank you all once again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this. As always, I've been Shane, and I hope to see you all through the day and night. But for now, goodbye.